I would like to begin with a verse from Isaiah chapter 58. This is the kind of fast day I'm after, to break the chains of injustice. It comes as part of a passage on fasting, and God seems to be saying that fasting on its own isn't enough. There also needs to be some action. In other words, whatever we do as Christians, be it prayer or fasting or any other type of devotional act, in God's eyes, unless it is coupled with some kind of action, it is of less worth. In this case, amongst other things, the action that God requires is to break the chains of injustice. I have a bookmark in my Bible that I look at daily. After the verse are these words: I commit myself to stand up for what is right and fair, and a simple prayer, Lord, give me the courage to do this. During my time as a full-time primary teacher, I always tried to teach the children about the inequalities that exist in the world. I can remember one such occasion. Our geography topic was Africa, and as always, I needed to include some history of the apartheid system in South Africa. We would go on to study Nelson Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom, which is published in a beautiful simplified picture version for children. We also looked at a book which was banned in this country for many years, called Journey to Joburg. This little novel told the story of a brother and sister who, after their younger sibling became very ill, decided that they would leave their village to get help from their mother, who was working miles away in Johannesburg. And here the injustice began. The mother worked as a servant to a rich white family in the city in order to keep a roof over her children's head. Along the way, the children encountered all sorts of prejudice and witnessed appalling acts of brutality towards their fellow black people. Being a majority white school, I began this difficult topic with a discussion about privilege and injustice. As the children came back into the classroom from lunch, I divided them into two groups, the blue-eyed children and the others. The blue-eyed eyes were given chairs to sit on, and the others had to sit on the floor. Everyone else had to do some monotonous task like reading the dictionary, while the blue eyes chose a book that they liked, and so it went on. After a while, the larger group of others began to look at each other with slightly stony expressions, but I kept up the exercise for as long as possible before I realised that if I didn't end it, a riot would break out. Afterwards, when I had revealed my motive for creating such a shocking illustration of discrimination and giving a randomly chosen group of people more privilege, the discussion was extremely illuminating. Of course, the large group were incensed that they had been treated so unfairly, and even after I'd told them that I didn't really think that they were less worthy than the blue eyes, they seemed reluctant to let it go. When I asked the blue-eyed group how they felt, of course the class clown type said, "Oh, it was great." But interestingly enough, most of them said that it made them feel uncomfortable, to be treated better than the other group, just because of the colour of their eyes. How uncomfortable do we feel in a world where we can be classed as privileged because of our education, our salary, where we live, who our parents are, who we know, or because of the colour of our skin? Do we feel appalled when we read about inequality or see it on the television? How about when we personally witness racist remarks or acts of violence? This is more challenging, but if we as Christians don't stand up for what is right and fair, then we are not disciples of Christ. To go back to my little bookmark, this is the kind of fast day I'm after, to break the chains of injustice. Isaiah 58 verse 6. I commit myself to stand up for what is right and fair. Lord, give me the courage to do this. Amen.